Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Table of Contents, Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
All about Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. With visiting and touring information, geography, history, attractions, and other points of interest.
Dr. Sydney Soclof. Dr. Sydney 22 at gmail.com. 2023. Narration by Dr. Sydney Soclof.
Zoe Phonemes.
And Nathan Koltov. For a complete discussion of YouTube navigation, please go to tiny.1/YT Navigator. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Flag of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. This is the coat of arms of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. The text Pax Justita is Latin for peace and justice.
Grenada is an island nation in the southeastern Caribbean.
Grenada is located north of Trinidad and Tobago in Venezuela and south of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Here is Grenada and the islands of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines is an island nation in the Lesser Antilles chain of the Caribbean Sea.
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines is an independent country in the West Indies. It consists of the island of Saint Vincent and the northern islands of the Grenadines group.
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines lies south of St. Lucia and north of Grenada in the Windward Islands of the Lesser Antilles, an island arc in the southeastern Caribbean Sea. The islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines include the main island of St. Vincent and the northern two-thirds of the Grenadines, a chain of 32 small islands stretching south from St. Vincent to Grenada.
This is a map of the country of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. The main island is Saint Vincent, with 88% of the total land area, and the capital city of Kingstown.
The largest of the Grenadines include Bequia, Canalen, Mystique, Mayro, and Union. The country has a French and British colonial history and is now part of the Commonwealth of Nations and CARICOM. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines is the third smallest country in the Western Hemisphere in area, after St. Kitts and Nevis and Grenada. The country's total area is 389 square kilometers, 150 square miles, of which the island of St. Vincent constitutes 344 square kilometers, 133 square miles, or 88% of the total land area. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a total population of 105,000, giving a population density of 284 persons per square kilometers, 737 persons per square mile, one of the highest in the Western Hemisphere. About a quarter of the country's people live in Kingstown and the surrounding area.
The capital and principal port, Kingstown, has a population of 13,000 and is on the southwestern coast of St. Vincent.
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines is a parliamentary democracy within the Commonwealth of Nations. King Charles III is head of state,
and is represented on the island by a Governor-General, an office with mostly ceremonial functions. This is the Governor-General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dame Susan Dugan since August 2019.
Control of the government rests with the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. This is the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves since 2001.
Most Vincentians are the descendants of Somali and Nigerian slaves brought to the island to work on plantations. About 80% of the population are descendants of the African slaves brought by the Europeans. No indigenous Caribbean Arawak population survived the French purge at Sauchers.
This shows the ethnic composition of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. About 12% are descendants of East Indian indentured servants brought to Grenada, mainly from the North Indian states of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh between 1857 and 1885. They also are few white descendants of English colonists, some Lebanese, Carib Indians, Chinese, and a sizable minority of mixed race. The rest of the population is of mixed descent.
The country's official language is English. French Creole used to be more widely known, but it has been declining to almost nothing and may be heard on some Grenadine islands.
The official language, English, is used in the government, but Grenadian Creole is considered the lingua franca of the island. French Preface Antillean Creole is still spoken by about 10 to 20% of the population.
Religion in Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Pentecostals, Anglicans and Methodists are the two major religious groups, but there are also congregations of Roman Catholics, Seventh-day Adventists, and Hindus.
Agriculture is central to the economy of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Although tourism is growing in importance,
the chief commercial crop is bananas, sugarcane, arrowroot, and coconuts are grown and exported.
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines is the world's leading producer of arrowroot, a starch used in cooking to thicken sauces.
Although tourism has grown in importance both on Saint Vincent and on Bequia, a small island noted for its beaches, the tourism industry remains relatively undeveloped compared to the Caribbean islands, and Saint Vincent is one of the Caribbean's least visited islands.
During the 1990s, the Grenadines began to attract wealthy tourists and yacht owners. Several celebrities have homes in the Grenadines, the island of Saint Vincent.
The island of Saint Vincent is volcanic in origin. Mountains covered by thick rainforests cross the island from north to south. The mountains reach a maximum elevation of 1,234 meters, 4,049 feet, at La Soufre in the island's northern part.
La Soufre is an active volcano that erupted violently in 1821, 1902, and 1979. The 1902 eruption killed 2,000 people. The 1979 eruption blasted ash, steam, and rock up to 20 kilometers, 12 miles, in the air and caused considerable agricultural damage. The people had been evacuated, and there were no casualties.
The sandy beaches and coral reefs of the Grenadines make these small islands popular with travelers, especially the wealthy, who arrive by yacht or small aircraft. The country does not yet have an airport that can handle large international airplanes. The national bird in the interior forests is the endangered Saint Vincent parrot. Another protected bird unique to Saint Vincent is the whistling warbler, found in the tropical forest of the Bucamant Valley on the western side of the island.
Falls of Baleine is a remote waterfall that can only be reached by boat.
The Montreal estate is at 1,500 feet altitude on the island of Saint Vincent. Banana plantations and rainforests surround the estate, which occupies 7.5 acres and is open to the public. The gardens contain many tropical plants and shaded areas devoted to anthurium and red ginger production for cut flowers. There is a densely planted garden and a formal planted area. Superb views of the coast, plantations and tropical rainforest are available. The formal garden is a sunken garden with formal box planting, surrounded by specimen trees, nutmegs and many tropical foliage shrubs.
This garden affords an excellent view over local farmland to Kingstown, the distant sea, and the mountain Grand Bonhomme.
The mountain Grand Bonhomme provides a spectacular backdrop to a view of the tropical garden.
Different varieties of coleus blend with gray/blue grasses in the coral garden.
This is the lower part of the color garden, showing some magnificent spithodia trees in bloom. Dappled light bleeds through the rainforest to illuminate bright spithodia flowers scattered over the ground. This is a river running through the rainforest garden.
This is Villa Beach.
This is the countryside of Saint Vincent.
This is the countryside of Saint Vincent.
This is the black sand beach on the eastern side of the island.
The history of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Christopher Columbus was the first European to reach the island. He named it after Saint Vincent of Saragossa, San Vicente de Zaragoza, whose feast day was when Columbus first saw the island on the 22nd of January 1498.
The name of the Grenadines refers to the Spanish city of Grenada, but to differentiate it from the island of the same name, the diminutive was used.
Various attempts by the English and Dutch to claim the island proved unsuccessful, and the French were the first to colonize the island. Settling in the town of Barrow Alley on the leeward side of St. Vincent in 1719, the French brought enslaved African prisoners of war to work the plantations of sugar, coffee, indigo, tobacco, cotton and cocoa.
The British captured the island and drove the French from Barrow Alley during the 7 Years' War, a claim confirmed by the Treaty of Paris, 1763. On taking control of the island in 1763, the British laid the foundations of Fort Charlotte and brought enslaved African prisoners of war to work on the island plantations.
The Black Caribs, however, opposed the British presence and entered into open conflict against the British, starting the First Carib War, which lasted from 1772 to 1773.
During the Anglo-French War, 1778–1783, the French recaptured Saint Vincent in 1779. However, the British regained control under the Treaty of Versailles of 1783.
The British abolished slavery in St. Vincent, as well as in all other British West Indies colonies, in 1834, and an apprenticeship period followed, which ended in 1838.
After its end, labor shortages on the plantations resulted and were initially addressed by the immigration of indentured servants in the late 1840s. Many Portuguese immigrants arrived from Madeira, and between 1861 and 1888, shiploads of Indian laborers arrived.
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines gained complete independence on October 27, 1979. The date is now the country's Independence Day, a public holiday.
The government chose to remain within the Commonwealth of Nations, retaining the then Queen Elizabeth II as monarch, and represented locally by a governor-general.
Kingstown.
Kingstown is the capital, chief port, and leading commercial centre of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. With a population of 13,000, Kingstown is the most populous settlement in the country. It is the island's agricultural industry centre and a port of entry for tourists.
The modern capital, Kingstown, was founded by French settlers shortly after 1722. Although St. Vincent had 196 years of British rule before its independence.
Most of the trees and plants of Saint Vincent can be seen in the botanical gardens in Kingstown, which were founded in 1765 and are among the oldest in the Western Hemisphere. They include a breadfruit tree descended from the original brought to the island in 1793 by Captain William Bligh of the Bounty from Tahiti. The Botanical Garden, conceived in 1765, is one of the oldest in the Western Hemisphere. William Bligh, made famous from the mutiny on the Bounty, brought the seed of the breadfruit tree here for planting circa 1793.
This 20-acre garden was founded in the 1760s and is a serene retreat for visitors and locals alike.
The island's rare St. Vincent parrots are on display in the small aviary and wander among vibrant blooms and towering trees, some over 200 years old.
Botanical Gardens in Kingstown.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Botanic Gardens are in Kingstown.
The Saint Vincent and the Grenadines Botanic Gardens was established in 1765 and is the oldest botanic garden in the Western Hemisphere.
The Assumption Cathedral, also called the Catholic Cathedral of Kingstown, the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption or simply St. Mary's Cathedral, is a Catholic cathedral in Kingstown. It is the cathedral church of the Diocese of Kingstown.
Its history dates to the first structure erected in stages in 1823, although the present building was completed in the 1930s decade. It was declared the co-cathedral of the Diocese of Bridgetown-Kingstown in 1971 and, since 1989, has been Kingstown's cathedral. The Assumption Cathedral stands out for its striking architecture, a combination of styles, Moorish, Romanesque, Byzantine, Venetian and Flemish, that strongly contrasts with the rest of the city.
The Cathedral Church of St. George is on Granville Street in Kingstown. The cathedral is the mother church of the Diocese of the Windward Islands, which is part of the province of the West Indies.
Fort Charlotte is a British colonial era fort built on a hill overlooking the harbour of Kingstown.
Standing at 601 feet above sea level, Fort Charlotte is the primary early 19th century fortification in Saint Vincent.
The fort offers a panoramic view of the island's leeward side, including Kingstown, Young Island, the Caribbean, Bequia and the Grenadines. Grenada, 90 miles to the south, can be seen on a clear day.
The old officers' quarters has walls aligned with paintings depicting Black Caribou history.
Most of this 18th century fort is off limits. One part is used as a women's prison.
This is a view from above Fort Charlotte.
Scenes of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
This is Campton Park, St. Vincent.
This is the island of Mystique in the Grenadines. The money of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
$1 equals 2.7410. Currency exchange rates can change daily. For the latest exchange rate, click on this icon. $20. 2003, East Caribbean dollar.
$50. 2003. $100. 2003.
The climate of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The climate of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Will it be hot? Or will it be cold in Kingstown? Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year in Kingstown.
Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Celsius throughout the year in Kingstown.
Rainfall in Kingstown.
Here is the average rainfall in inches throughout the year in Kingstown. The total yearly rainfall is 76 inches, or 1928 millimeters. Here is the average rainfall in millimeters throughout the year in Kingstown. Here is the average number of days per month with rainfall throughout the year in Kingstown. It rains about 14 days every month throughout the year. Recommended videos: Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Recommended video: a week's vacation tours of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Recommended video: 9 top things to do in Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Recommended video: History of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Recommended video: YouTube navigation.
Recommended videos: walking tours of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. For a street-level experience of Kingstown, view the video walking tours. It's the next best thing to being there.
Recommended videos: walking tour of Kingstown. Table of contents: Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thanks for watching. Please watch some more of my great videos.